Hello Internet, I'm TychoCelchuuu. This is a Men of War game, not a Men of War Assault Squad game, unfortunately. You can watch my previous video for details about why I don't have Men of War, or you can just listen to the next sentence. I am too cheap to purchase it. Alright, got that out of the way. And this is sort of a repeat of the last game too. These are some of the same players, maybe even... no, there's one different player I think. And same map, same stuff like that, so you can watch that previous video if you want. It's like 8 minutes. I think YouTube at some point enabled my account for much longer videos than 15 minutes. It's funny, originally I was limited to like 10, and then I think they bumped me up to 15, and later they bumped me up to more than 15, or I started at 10, then they bumped me up to more than 15, but I misread for the longest time the little message that said you can now upload videos longer than 15 minutes. I thought it said you may now upload videos as long as 15 minutes, so I kept like chopping my videos up into these little chunks, but I won't do that anymore. Of course, I don't have to do that with this video or the previous video because they're so short because our opponents suck, but that's okay because I can use their suckiness to give tips to people playing the game, because let's be honest, most of us suck at most things, and most of you probably suck at Men of War. I'm actually not fantastic at Men of War. I'd say I'm about average, which is better than sucking. Isn't that true? So again, I buy a submachine gun squad in the beginning. I say again, if you haven't seen my previous video, just go watch it. It's like 8 minutes. I buy a submachine gun thing. This guy buys a light anti-aircraft gun on the left, and thankfully for my ally it's not penetrating his T-26 light tank. If he had bought a BT-6, one of those little shoe-shaped light vehicles, he probably would have been dead, but this thing has just thick enough armor to sort of take this on, and so he's just going to shell it for a while, I think. I'm under attack, but if I can stay behind this tank and throw a grenade, everything's going to be peachy, but I can't, so I have to go back behind, and direct control is a really good idea when you're tossing grenades at a long distance like this, because I think you do get a slightly longer range when you're in direct control, and in any case you can make sure the guy's not going to do something stupid and run around. But I catch another grenade on the flip side, so try and get out of there. But, oh, I do get out of there. That worked out pretty well. When I've captured the point, I try and pull as many people back as possible and use them for being able to recapture the point if my opponent takes it back. That worked out pretty well. He ran straight into my grenade, and so I managed to kill a couple of people with that. And deplete some of his grenades. So now, this is the reason I pulled back off the point. He's going to be forced to assault this place, and I want to be in the best position as possible to fire on him, and the best position is really not sitting in the middle of the point, just waiting for something to happen. You want some cover, and you want to be where your opponent does not expect you to be, so there's really no reason to hang around on the point once you've captured it, unless you're expecting some really close-in fighting, and you want to keep them from recapturing it, but that's only if your points are sort of like very even. It's worth it to sort of lose some victory points in the short term to gain the tactical advantage in the long run. You just want to be able to hold these points for a good duration of time. It's okay if they take it back for like 5 seconds while you move in and wipe out all the people that just took it back. So, fight piecemeal. He was not fighting piecemeal. He had all his people clustered around that corner, so one grenade was able to take 3 people out. And this was just my one guy I had sort of sitting in reserve. I brought him in. So this is guerrilla fighting. You really want to make the most out of each man of war. And look, it's a rifleman squad, so that makes me happy because, well, I was going to throw a grenade at him, but that did not quite work, but I'm fine. I can handle riflemen. There are very few things riflemen can do. I briefly consider buying another infantry squad to take it on, because I figure I'm a good enough infantry fighter to sort of, you know, mano a mano take down a rifleman squad with a submachine gun squad, especially because submachine guns fire so much faster. They've got sort of superior firepower, except the super long ranges, and I figure I can get in close enough to that, so that doesn't matter. But instead, I feel like he's sunk enough points into infantry at this point that it's worth it to buy a light vehicle. I do want to be kind of cautious, because he might have some sort of AT capabilities hiding back there, but so I do want to scout for my thing, and in addition to scouting, I have lost enough infantry that I need to get some submachine gun people out there. But in paying for this very, very light vehicle designed entirely to wipe out my enemy's infantry force, I've forced myself, well, I've deprived myself of the ability to fight this Panzer II that I've just noticed, so I have to do something about that too, but interestingly enough, he moves up on his own with his riflemen with basically no cover, and this gives me an opportunity to move in with my light vehicle and just mow them down. Unfortunately, he pulls back, but I sort of sense weakness, because if he's pulling back that far, I figure he doesn't have AT, so I'm like, vroom, I'm driving in and gonna kill you. Great time for my dude to reload, but whatever. It's basically just a machine gun on a little car. There's nothing very special about this, but if your opponent has no cover and it's just infantry, it'll really just kill people. It'll mow the crap out of them, and it's nice to go in direct control to get the little last bit down on them. Unfortunately, this thing seems to be addicted to firing, because you see as I pull back, It fires a few more shots, and that was kind of silly, and then it reloads, and then it fires a whole nother magazine at that dead bodies. I mean, obviously it's trying to wipe out anybody that's left, but I'm just like, at this point, what are you doing? If you want to stop that, you can just immediately go into direct control in the vehicle, and of course it'll stop firing because you're not telling it to fire when you're in direct control. But that's a good way to save ammunition. In this case, I didn't care. I was just driving away, and I figured he's got enough bullets. I'll let him reload by the time he gets there. But anyways, I spend my time spreading out this new infantry squad that I purchased because my men were depleted, and I'm just waiting for this Panzer II to show up and wreck my day. So my idea is just to spread all these people out. They're set to return fire, so they shouldn't open up whenever they see anybody. And I just want to get close enough to throw an AT grenade. I'm not really expecting it to happen, but it's worth a try, right? Just to spread some machine gunners out. There's no point in leaving them fallow. So he gets spotted, and that does not work. So he's dead, but whatever. And interestingly enough, he sends up a half-track to fight. So I was towing my AT gun, which I had just bought because I was expecting some sort of vehicle to take out my light vehicles, because basically any vehicle will be my light vehicle. But he's bought basically the only vehicle that won't kill my light vehicle, which is a half-track. Maybe the half-track could damage me with his machine gun on top, but I doubt it. But yeah, that worked out super badly for him, because I, of course, anticipated some sort of vehicle and bought a ZIS-2, which is more than enough to own the half-track, although it did have a rocket launcher infantry in there. So I guess he bought the half-track with some sort of special infantry component in there, and he was planning on doing some sort of thing, but I did really not fantastic job there. Bad guy. Yeah, and now I'm trying to just kill the half-track, loading some HE shells, but I figure it doesn't matter, because again, we are going to win. We have 1,000 points out of the 1,200 needed. We have all 3 points, and they're taking up super fast. So what did they do wrong in this game? What could they have done better to fight? Well, this guy really did not utilize cover at all. He kept all his infantry clumped together and grenaded, or out in the open and machine gunned and submachine gunned. So it's a very simple concept to always keep your men in cover. Look at where my dudes are. Do you see any of them in the open? Don't look at that guy in the open. Look at the other people. Yes, exactly. They're all in cover. Except don't look at that guy. Don't look at that guy. Don't. What are you doing? What are you doing? Don't look at him. Now he's in cover. See? And so now my goal is just to kill this tiny little tank thing before the game ends. It's a Panzer I. Wow, what an impressive tank. You were top of the line in World War I. I don't think so. I don't think the Panzer I existed in World War I. Certainly it's a piece of crap. It's just got like 2 machine guns on top, I think. Not even like machine guns, but like pew 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 machine guns, like MG34 machine guns. And boom, it's dead. I killed some benches too, so that was fun. Vandalism. It's fun.